Here's something that'll make your skin crawl. There's an object out there that's been described as so dangerous that even brushing your hand against it could drop you dead before you hit the ground. No warnings, no second chances, just instant death. And this isn't some made-up horror story. This is documented in biblical archaeology, referenced by scholars, and feared by entire civilizations for thousands of years. We're talking about the Ark of the Covenant, a golden chest that allegedly housed the 10 Commandments and was treated like a nuclear weapon wrapped in pure gold. Most people think they know the story. Sunday school stuff, Indiana Jones movies. But what if I told you that serious researchers are still trying to figure out what this thing actually was and what it could do? What if the stories about people dying from touching it weren't religious exaggeration but descriptions of something real, something dangerous? And here's what'll really mess with your head. This object disappeared around 587 BCE, and despite centuries of treasure hunts and modern technology that can find buried cities from space, nobody can prove where it is. That's the question that's haunted archaeologists for millennia. Maybe the Ark was never really lost. Maybe it was hidden. Maybe someone found it and decided the world wasn't ready. Or maybe it's still out there, waiting in some sealed chamber, as deadly today as it was 3,000 years ago. So what really happens if you touch the Ark of the Covenant? You're about to find out. Picture this. It's ancient times, and there's an object so dangerous that merely touching it could mean instant death. An artifact so powerful that entire civilizations went to war over it. A treasure so sacred that it was kept behind layers of curtains, guarded by priests who'd spend their entire lives preparing for the honor of being near it. The Ark of the Covenant isn't some made-up legend. This is documented in ancient history, described in meticulous detail in religious texts. We're talking about a golden chest, approximately 3.75 feet long, 2.25 feet wide, covered in pure gold, decorated with 2 cherubim on top. Inside it were the stone tablets containing the 10 Commandments, a golden jar of manna, and Aaron's staff. But here's what makes your blood run cold. This wasn't just a religious relic you could admire from a distance. This was an object so volatile that touching it incorrectly meant you'd be dead before you hit the ground. Think I'm exaggerating? Let me share a story. There's this account about a guy named Uzzah. The Ark was being transported on an ox cart when the oxen stumbled. Uzzah, seeing this sacred object about to fall, did what any of us would do. He reached out to steady it. Seems like a good deed, right? Wrong. The moment his hand made contact with the Ark, he dropped dead. Just like that. Instant death. Now you might think that's just religious hyperbole, but here's what keeps researchers up at night. There are multiple accounts from different sources, spanning different time periods, all describing similar phenomena. People dying from touching it, armies being decimated when it was carried into battle against them, plagues breaking out in cities where it was kept improperly. That's not one story, that's a pattern. And patterns suggest something real was happening. So what made this thing so deadly? Some theorists suggest the Ark might have been an electrical device. Think about it, a gold-covered wooden box with specific instructions about how it must be carried using wooden poles, never touching the gold directly. That's basically describing an insulated capacitor. Others point to more extreme theories, that this wasn't human technology at all, but something given to ancient people by visitors from beyond our world. When you can't explain how an ancient object could cause instant death, when you can't find any poison or mechanical trap that would account for it, well, suddenly those crazy theories start looking interesting. Here's what really gets me. It's not just that this object was dangerous, it's that it disappeared, completely. Vanished around 587 BCE during the Babylonian destruction of Solomon's temple, and nobody has been able to definitively prove where it went. The single most important religious artifact in ancient history just poof, gone. And that silence? That's where our real journey begins. The Ark wasn't just some fancy religious decoration, it was the centerpiece of an entire civilization's relationship with the divine. According to ancient history, God himself gave Moses the exact specifications for building it on Mount Sinai. Precise measurements, specific materials, detailed instructions, nothing was left to chance. The craftsmanship alone tells you something major was going on. Pure gold covering acacia wood, poles that were never to be removed, priests who had to follow incredibly strict protocols. They couldn't look at it directly when uncovered, couldn't touch it, had to perform specific rituals before approaching it. It reads less like religious ceremony and more like a safety manual for handling dangerous equipment. The Ark wasn't passive, it apparently did stuff. When the Israelites carried it around Jericho's walls 7 times, those walls came tumbling down. When the Philistines captured it in battle, they were hit with plagues and tumors until they begged to give it back. These aren't just religious myths. These are accounts with specific details about places, people, and consequences that make researchers pause and think. Now here's where everything goes sideways. It's 587 BCE, and the Babylonian king Nebuchadnezzar II is laying siege to Jerusalem. Solomon's temple is being systematically demolished. The Babylonians are looting everything: gold, silver, sacred vessels, all documented in their records. Except the Ark, the single most valuable object in the entire temple made of pure gold, and it's not mentioned anywhere in the Babylonian loot lists. Nothing. It's like it was never there. Some scholars suggest the prophet Jeremiah hid it before the invasion. There's this reference about him concealing it in a cave on Mount Nebo, sealing the entrance, declaring that it would remain hidden until God gathered his people together again. Except nobody's ever found that cave. This is where the mystery deepens. Because it's not just that the Ark disappeared, it's how completely it vanished. When you lose track of something that important, there should be accounts, debates, theories from that time period. But instead, silence. Almost like someone made a conscious decision to stop talking about it. The Babylonians were meticulous record keepers. If they destroyed or melted down the Ark, they would have bragged about it. So if they didn't take it, and nobody recorded its destruction, and there's no reliable account of where it went, where the hell is it? That question has launched more treasure hunts than any other mystery in history. There are 3 main location theories. First, Ethiopia claims they've had it for over 2,000 years in the Church of Our Lady Mary of Zion. They've got a guardian monk dedicated to watching over it. Problem is, nobody's allowed to see it. Then there's the Vatican theory. Some believe Knights Templar discovered it and transported it to Rome, where it's locked in the secret archives. And finally, the theory that it never left Jerusalem, hidden in tunnels beneath the Temple Mount, an area so politically sensitive that excavation is virtually impossible. The Ethiopian claim isn't just made up. They've got historical documents and traditions going back centuries. According to their records, the Queen of Sheba visited King Solomon. They had a son named Menelik the Firster, and when that son came of age, he supposedly took the Ark with him. The Ethiopian church has replicas in every church and treats them with extreme reverence. But Western researchers keep hitting the same wall. The guardian monk won't let anyone examine it. Not with carbon dating, not with scanning technology, not even a peek. It's a perfect catch-22. The only way to prove they have it is to examine it, but examining it would violate everything they believe about protecting it. In Jerusalem, beneath the Temple Mount, there's a massive network of tunnels and chambers that haven't been fully explored. In the 1980s, a rabbi named Yehuda Getz claimed he'd found a tunnel leading directly to where the Ark should be. He got close before Muslim authorities found out, and it had to be sealed for political reasons. That's the thing about searching in Jerusalem. It's not just archaeology, it's navigating one of the most politically sensitive locations on Earth. The Vatican angle is perhaps the most frustrating. The Vatican Apostolic Archives contain an estimated 53 miles of shelving. Could the Ark be hidden there? Theoretically, yes, but unlike Ethiopia, the Vatican has never said anything about the Ark one way or another. That silence has fueled decades of conspiracy theories. What really gets me is the sheer number of serious expeditions that have tried and failed. Government-funded teams, university researchers, experienced explorers, they've all come away empty-handed. Or have they? There are whispers about expeditions that found something but were silenced, researchers who got too close and were warned off. In 1909, a British expedition led by Captain Montague Parker got permission to excavate beneath the Temple Mount. They spent 2 years digging, then got caught conducting unauthorized excavations inside the dome of the rock. Riots broke out, the team fled, and all detailed records conveniently vanished. Now let's talk about what the Ark might actually be. The electrical device theory is compelling. Gold-covered wood with specific insulation requirements sounds like instructions for building a massive capacitor. In the dry desert climate, static electricity buildup would have been substantial. Touching it without proper grounding could absolutely kill someone instantly. No divine intervention required, just physics that ancient people couldn't understand. Some researchers suggest it might have been a legitimate power source emitting electromagnetic pulses or radiation. There are accounts of the Ark glowing, of clouds surrounding it, of people unable to approach because of intensity. These aren't descriptions of a simple wooden box. They're descriptions of something generating physical effects. And then there's the political power angle. Whoever possessed the Ark had ultimate religious authority. Kings went to war over it. What if the powers were psychological? What if deaths and plagues were coincidences or deliberate manipulations? A little poison on the gold and you've got a reputation for housing unstoppable divine power. So here we are, thousands of years later with all our modern technology, satellite imaging, ground-penetrating radar, DNA analysis, and we still can't answer the most basic question: where is it? We've found Tutankhamun's tomb, excavated Pompeii, discovered underwater cities. But the Ark? Nothing. And that's not for lack of trying. The real puzzle isn't that we haven't found it. It's that every lead somehow hits a wall. Sometimes literally, sometimes politically, sometimes mysteriously. We live in an age where you can spot ancient structures from space, reconstruct faces from ancient bones. Yet we can't locate one of the most sought-after objects in human history. Why? Some suggest it's purely logistical, buried too deep in inaccessible locations. The tunnels beneath Jerusalem are unstable, and in a region where digging could start wars. Ethiopia won't allow testing. The Vatican won't comment. But here's another possibility. Maybe someone doesn't want it confirmed. Think about what would happen if the Ark were found tomorrow. Religious institutions would fight over who has rightful claim. Political tensions in the Middle East would explode. If tests showed it was just an artifact with no supernatural properties, millions would have their faith shaken. If tests revealed unexplained phenomena, radiation, electromagnetic anomalies, that could be equally destabilizing. Either outcome creates massive problems. So maybe there are people who know more than they're saying and have decided the world is better off not knowing. Let's talk about biblical prophecy. Multiple traditions suggest the Ark will be revealed at a specific time, when humanity is ready. Some Jewish traditions say it will reappear when the third temple is built. What if the Ark's location is known to a select few, and they're waiting for the right time? That would explain the consistent failure of treasure hunts, the mysterious obstacles, the way evidence disappears at crucial moments. Here's a thought experiment. Imagine the Ark was found tomorrow, verified beyond doubt. What happens? Competing claims from multiple nations and religions, lawsuits, diplomatic incidents, maybe military posturing. Then the testing question. Do you allow scientists to study the most important artifact in human history? What if tests reveal technology we can't explain? Or what if it's just a box, nothing special? How many people's faith would be shaken? The more you think about it, the more you realize maybe the Ark's greatest power isn't what it can do, it's what it represents. As long as it remains lost, it can be anything. A symbol of faith, a promise of divine intervention, proof that there are still mysteries human arrogance can't solve. The moment it's found and examined, it becomes finite, explainable. Maybe that's why every expedition fails. Maybe some things are more powerful as mysteries than as discoveries. So what happens if you touch the Ark of the Covenant? We've explored historical accounts of instant death, scientific theories about electrical discharge, alternative explanations involving ancient technologies, political interpretations suggesting psychological manipulation. We've examined every theory, followed every lead, and you know what? We still don't really know. Until someone actually finds it and touches it, we're all just guessing. Maybe we'll never know. Or maybe it's already been found and someone decided the world isn't ready. Maybe the Ark is exactly where it needs to be, just out of reach, keeping us searching, keeping us wondering, keeping us humble in the face of mysteries that refuse to be solved. Sweet dreams.